today the goal is to actually get the coin to be so a long while ago, we added in uh, animation for coins to appear in the middle of the transition from one minigame to another for Nauticlone. In case anyone is joining in and have not actually seen Nauticlone before, it's basically WarioWaring for your mobile game, except all the mini games are actually, most of them are clones of other mobile games as well. So, anyways, right now, like we have we already have this coin programmed in, but there's no way to actually expose it to the player right now. So we're going to be working on stuff to make sure that that actually happens. And in fact, I already made like a bit of a head start on this. These are all the unlockables for, these are what I call the upgrades, unlockable upgrades they can purchase using in-game currency, not, you know, it's not it has nothing to do with, when I say in-game currency, there's no in-app purchases into the game. So, right. But, excuse me, man, I'm all over the place. But we do have these, what we call the Lucky Coin upgrade, which has a couple of things that, while scripting for it, I kind of went ahead start on this. That I already have it filled in here. Like you can see, for example, how much it cost right here under the price category, or price column, row, I guess. We have this unlockable settings, which is the filter, which provides some criteria necessary to, criteria that the person needs to pass before this is available. Criteria for rejection is do not make this appear if this is a demo, and do not make this unlockable appear if it's already unlocked. And likewise here it says check to see if the extra life upgrade 1 has been bought first, and check to see if the person's high score is greater than 5. If we don't meet those criteria, then this does not appear on the shop, so on and so forth. You know, this one, the requirement is that the Lucky Coin 1 has to appear, and optional requirements are either that you score over 10 or the number of unlockables that you bought is greater than 4. Same thing here, optionally 15 or 8, 20 and 12, 15 and 30. So it seems like we're like almost done with this, and we are, but there are a couple of things still missing, which is that we actually don't have anything written out for the description key and name key. Now, what are they called? You know, the name key, I don't think I actually need to worry anything about. No, I think I do. Yeah, I think I need to actually look into that, but or need to work into that. But the rest of it, like the Lucky Coin, unlock description, and upgrade description, needs to be filled in what we call the translation CSV. So here is actually the file itself. A CSV can so a CSV just stands for comma separated values, but one of the unique things that you can do with them is you can actually open them in Excel, although because I'm a cheap person, I'm gonna open it instead with LibreOffice. While it's doing that, oh right, I forgot to, so as part of making sure that nobody edits this, we have it locked via SBN. Adding entries for Lucky Coin upgrade. There we go. Okay. So that'll make that not read-only, and hopefully LibreOffice will be just fine trying to open that thing. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, cool. Wait, then cancel. Let me try that again. Excuse me. These coughs don't go away. I am feeling a lot better, by the way. I know I sounded terrible last week, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm probably gonna search for this Extra Life Upgrade 1 and Upgrade 2. Because I believe the name is necessary. I'm also gonna look at this screen here. So this is kind of weird. What these upgrades do is they only increment a number of that type, so to speak. So the way I wrote the code is that if you unlock this unlockable, there's a group of these unlockables, it increments that number by 1. But then it's only in here under the unlockable info collection that these numbers actually correspond to anything, with 0 being, none of these upgrades unlocked means that the probability of the coin appearing is at 0, the minimum value that you're going to get for clicking on that coin is 0, and the maximum value is 0, so on and so forth. And these are all the rest of the values. So the first one, is just unlocking it. The second one increases the probability. The third one increases the amount. The fourth one increases the probability of it appearing. And the last one does both. So it may be worth changing these description keys, actually. I'm going to say upgrade description 1. Change that to 2. And this isn't especially efficient, but, well, there's only 5 of them. I'm not too concerned. 4 and 5. And then we apply those changes, save the scene. That should apply those changes to the prefabs. We should have our text open. Yep, it is. And then what we'll do is we'll search for wherever the heck this Extra Life description upgrade is being displayed. Excuse me. Yeah, let's just find it. Find. There we go. That looks like a place to put that in. Alright, so make a couple of spaces here. Copy these. 1, 2, 3. We'll need to copy that. And we'll still need to pull in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Extra Life upgrade, we want to change this to Lucky Coin upgrade 1. Change this to 2, 3, 4, and 5. So probably some of you are asking like why we have to do this roundabout way of adding a string into the game. String being, a string of letters. If you're a programmer, that is. And the reason is because we're trying to add translation support. And I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm gonna actually need to translate this to Pig Latin at some point. So we have like 3 different columns in this CSV. The first column being the key file, which is what the game uses. You see the name key and the description key right here. That's what it uses to get reference from a specific row that it needs to read in. Then we have the English USA column and the Pig Latin column. And the Pig Latin is there just so that we can actually test to make sure that our system is working. Uklay. And then coin is oink. So by doing that, we can basically translate our game almost instantaneously from English to Pig Latin and vice versa. We can also toss this to a translator, and all they need to do is translate each of these texts individually. Now, it's a little more complex than that. They'll need to know what the context that text is being displayed so that, you know, the translations doesn't turn out to be horrible. But nonetheless, this is our method of adding translations into our game by creating a CSV file, which can be opened, which is a text file actually, but can easily be opened in Excel and exported as such. The other thing that we wanted was the Lucky Coin description. The script to make this has been created by Dylan, one of our second programmer, who did a fantastic job of pulling this together. Unlocks the coin that makes a coin appear on makes a lucky coin appear in game when tapping on the coin if you get more money. And I'll later spend the time afterwards to translate this to, you know, Pig Latin. But anyways, I believe we said in the second upgrade here, so the first is actually unlocking. The second upgrade increases the likeliness the lucky coin will appear in game. Increases the amount of money the lucky coin will give. Increases the likeliness the lucky coin will appear in game. And in the last one, lucky coin. And the amount of money the lucky coin will give. So I'm just going to copy and paste that here. If memory serves correct, if it starts with a vowel, it just does that. Ethe clay. I think that's the right way of doing that. Oink ilway appeare in game in a aim gay. Yeah. I am probably mistranslating this. You know, I'm not too worried about it right now. So I'm gonna leave that as is for now, save that. Close that. And then what we should be able to do is we should be able to just play the game. I don't recall my save settings here, so that might end up being a little important. There are a couple of other measures that I need to do. This, I'm not gonna end the stream just yet if this works just fine. All right, let's start the game. So we need to score up to 5, it said, before it starts appearing. We also need to unlock life. Keep going. Alright, I'm gonna use a quick shortcut to fail the game. This is a quick cheat. Alright, so we got 5. We are going to the store. We're gonna buy that extra life and return back to normal. Okay, so the shop doesn't shuffle its assortment of goods for a while. I'm gonna close that for now. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, make sure that I apply that for a minute, but also make it such that where's our fancy shop here? The unlock shop. So the minutes between shuffles, I'm gonna change that to 1 for now. Yeah. So in theory, okay, it did shuffle it, but you know, it got Don't Blink in there instead. Well. Maybe I really should consider putting a cheat system for constantly shuffling the store. Oh gosh, this game has problems. Okay. Maybe a minute has passed. It is changing the assortment. It's just not the one I want. Yeah. Well, huh, it's not even listed either. That's a problem. I wonder why it's not listed. And that's because I forgot to do this. There we go. I went for shop entries too, but I only want 7 out of these. There we go. Much more like it. These shop entries are not going to really do anything, but this eventually we'll get around to adding an Easter egg. Today, maybe, hopefully, perhaps. Let's check. Nope, still not in here. We don't quite have the money too, so let's make sure that we can get a lot of money. There. Perfect. None of these are what we want. Yeah. I'm just gonna fail these actually. I mean, presumably a minute has been passed. Okay, so I wonder if yeah, I wonder if like this the life is or the lucky coin unlockable is even in consideration here. Okay, yeah, it is. So what we can potentially do, first off, in hypothesis, it should just work fine, as in like it should appear on the shop at some point. So that's the one thing I want to make sure of. This is kind of not the most entertaining way of testing the game. I'm a very thorough tester too, so like until it appears I kind of obsess over it. Maybe I'll just keep scoring 5. Fail these really fast. Oh, well, later. Extra life, Canna Biker, phone. I wonder. No, I genuinely wonder this. Excuse my dilly-dallying here. Extra... Okay, these count as extra lives for some reason when they should not. So that would explain half that problem. In fact, none of these are set properly, so this is annoying me. So that would explain half that. Okay. I know I have enough money to buy apps. Nope, still not appearing. And what was the criteria again for getting the first lucky coin to appear? First off, it's not unlocked, so this shouldn't be a concern. And for some reason, oh no, the extra life upgrade has been bought and the best score is greater than 5. So, it may just be the RNG gods not liking me. But yeah, we can test this. I'm going to make a really lame test here by checking to see if... Keep going. Right, I pull a... if is debug is debug build equals true, then I say debug.log what shall we call this? App info filter info dot app name key is filtered so we'll pull in that quick debug log in there, and then what should happen is the console should be filled up with a lot of information because the shop needs to check to make sure all these things are unlocked or locked or unlocked. Alright, so before I go through that, what we need to care about is checking to see these. Alright, here it goes. Is extra life upgrade is false, is lucky coin upgrade filtered false. So that's the reason why it hasn't been making an appearance. I'm curious as to why the lucky coin upgrade one is not considered filtered. Because extra life is... Extra life upgrade is considered to appear. Why is that? Well, this got hairy. If now we're doing bug fixing. If I'm gonna start with this one because this should not be filtered at all once you've unlocked it. Could put a break. Oh, I can make a even stupider. There we go. Else if filter info and the second thing I want is this string of text, and the way I'll just put a breakpoint on each of these. Okay. Make sure that I don't have any extraneous breakpoints. I don't need these. I just need this one and this one. And we'll play the game once Unity compiles. So the isFiltered function is what I'm using to check to make sure whether something should appear on the shop menu or not. And it shouldn't. If it returns false, it says don't show it. And the list that I'm using are the rejection criteria to check to see whether we should reject that upgrade. So the reject criteria being for the extra life being that if it is a demo build, then don't show it, or if this is if this extra life upgrade has already been bought, then don't show that either. But apparently, one of these are not running. All right, good. So right now we are under the settings of the extra life upgrade, so that's good. And this I need to find out. Okay, so by this point it should be returning false. By default, it's returning false. Check to see if the length is greater than that. Check any filter state. Actually, since it's supposed to be by default returning false, okay. By default return false. The filter state is true. And, okay. Go through all the rejection list. The first rejection is if the filter is demo. So is filtered, let's go into this. Filter state, yeah, let's walk into this. Not too concerned about that. Keep walking. Is filtered, return that. Is filter by, and filter by should be is demo. This is the case here, but because we're not in we didn't flag the demo macro here, it doesn't fall through. The return state should say false. Okay. And that did not match true, so it's going on with the next one. Go on. Walk into here. Is return state, filter by, and filter by should be based off of unlockable state. So we're filtering by unlockable. By default, we're returning false. That's fine. And it's not searching for all unlockables. Okay, so that would explain a lot of things at once. Yep, that would explain a lot of things at once. So I wrote a fix me for myself that says search for unlockables, and I completely forgot about this. So unlockable collection, find, and this should be find unlockable. Yep, there we go. Settings key. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, let's try that one more time. With Visual Studio, you have to actually stop playing before you change the code. And it's not like MonoDevelop where you can debug and change the code at the same time, which is a little annoying. But then again, MonoDevelop crashes a lot, so you take something away, you add something. I'll take stability over crashing a lot. I guess it's not hitting any of those breakpoints yet. Alright, there we go. It hit the breakpoint. Alright, cool. We're gonna step through this again. Make sure that's passing. I'm gonna check this one more time just in case. Which is filter by should be by demo, and since it's not a demo, it's just gonna return false. Go through the rejected list. The next filter by should be by unlock state, filter by unlockables, return, and now it's going through the unlockable collection, which I just, which was what it should have been searching through, and it'll find an unlockable info, which now it finds an extra life unlockable. That's exactly what we wanted. If the unlockable does not equal null, grab its setting, check to see if it's bought. Why is the return flag? Oh, if the compare state is bought, then we're checking to see whether is unlocked is set to true, because is unlocked stands for whether the player bought it or not. So if that property is set to true, which it is according to the debugger, return that, and that is returned to false, or true, excuse me. So now we gotta return true. Then return is set to false, which it should be. Okay, so that works. And now the lucky upgrade should appear. It says return equals true. It should pass through this. Okay, and then it should return. Alright, so it hits none of those. The filter is return true equals true, and we continue. So I'm gonna disable all of those. And there it is, we got the lucky coin, finally. So we can unlock that. And that should, in theory, start to make the coin appear. In fact, we can actually kind of check this via code. So you were useful, but I'm gonna close everything else. The last thing we need to check is the transition. And there's a scene transition menu which we don't use whatsoever. We don't use anything in this folder, in fact. We want the game transition panel. And somewhere in here should be the lucky coin. Yep, here it is. We should be able to actually just pull a breakpoint there. There it is. Okay, so it says menu settings, number of total wins is 3. Whether that's greater than 3, that's great. If math approximately, probability of luck should be 0.2. Whether that's false. And finally, if the random value is greater than okay, so yeah, it is actually working. I can tell because of the whole debugging thing. So we just have to play a lot because right now the probability of it appearing is 1 out of 5. Yoink, 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 yoink. So what? 1 out of 5, that means like I should be seeing at my placeholder sound effect, it's terrible. Oh, I messed up. Okay. I should probably update the angle on that, launch angle on that game. Okay. Oh well. Ah well. You are not appearing. Oh. I guess you don't count. I really should do something about that game. I'm not exactly a fan of it. Really? Oh, there it is. Got it. It worked! No. Alright, so, yeah, it worked. The only other things that we should worry about is, make sure that all their text is actually working. So we can... I have this cheat menu. You're not going to see it in the game at all when it gets released. But one thing you can do is check to see if these texts work. Make a lucky coin occasionally appear in game. If you tap the coin, you get more money. Increase the likeliness the lucky coin will appear in game. That text probably needs to change. Increase the amount of money the lucky coin will give. Increase the likeliness the lucky coin will appear in game, and increase the likeliness the lucky coin will give appear in game, and the amount the money the lucky coin will give. So then, if we actually play that, I did program it to say that it has like half a chance. So it's about 50-50 that the probability of the coin will appear, which probably I'll need to adjust as time goes on. I'm not seeing it. It's kind of weird. You know, the fact that I'm not seeing it bothers me. Let's see if it actually is 50-50 right now. Alright, so... Okay, so we didn't win enough of these mini games. That makes sense. We actually do make sure that you know how to play the game, which means that we check to see if you've at least succeeded on that game 3 times. So that means that we'll need to check more thorough. We'll probably have to decrease that number. Oh, whoops. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Incredible. And fantastic. Yeah, it appears a lot. I think we're gonna probably change that number to not half. A lot of these placeholder sound effects are not music to my ears. Yeah, that appears a little too often for my taste. I suspected as much. I don't know why that takes so long, but anyways, yay! So we got it working. So the only thing that we have left to work on, it looks like, is the number of wins before lucky coin appears. I am not a fan of it being set to 1 right now. I wanted to go there. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see if this is used elsewhere. Nope, it's only used there. Okay. So I'm gonna say 1, honestly. Or maybe even 2. Now 1 makes sense to me. A few times. I mentioned earlier that I'm not a fan of it appearing like half the time. So we'll need to adjust that accordingly. 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Yeah, okay. We just need to update the description later on to handle that. Okay, and the one last thing I wanted to make sure was to make sure that the player actually sees something change. Excuse me. So it doesn't make sense for them to, unlock the coin unlockable and never actually see it, because that's just going to make them question, like, why did I even purchase that power-up at all? So it's probably going to be a good idea to at least have it show up at least once, guaranteed almost as soon as they bought it. So sorry, that probably sounded horrible on the mic. Okay. So the way I'm thinking of it is that we actually keep track of how many times the player has tapped on the lucky coin. And each time that we obviously increment that number. Right. So, sorry, not exactly the most talkative person when thinking my thought process through. But, anyways, excuse me. So basically, we usually try to add a couple of information here, but this case, I want unlockable prepend key. We're gonna call this number of times lucky coin appeared. Number of times lucky coin was tapped. We'll need both of those numbers in the future, but for now, these two immediately strikes me as most important. Number of times lucky coin appeared equals 0. Number of times lucky coin was tapped also defaults to 0. Probably number of times. I'm just gonna start off with 0 for pretty much all of them. Yeah, I'm not exactly the most fond of here. If it's gonna be 0, it's gonna be 0 is my line of thinking. 0 tends to not be a magical number that I'll take. Lucky coin count. Get int number of times lucky coin appeared, and that is not the constant name I want. I want to make sure that it has the key word in there. Was tapped lucky coin was tapped, and again make sure that the word key is in there. We need to save these values, and we need to make a property for each of them too. So I'm just using what's called player prefs to store these information. It's a fairly simple set of functions, of course. Number of times the lucky coin appeared. Copy and paste these, copy and paste that. I'm going to need these as I scroll back up to get number of plays. App opened. There we go. Excuse me. I guess that was nothing. It's going to complain about that. That's fine. I'm not too concerned. Make sure that this returns an integer. And then player set int. There we go. Make sure the value never goes below 0. Yep. Was tapped. There. So we have a lucky. Okay, that should take care of everything. Everything in preparation for the settings. Now we just need to look for the lucky coin panel. I think I call it. There we go. There's a hide. There's an on click. There should be somewhere in here an on display. Set up display. Trying to recall what happens to this if there's any preloading. Okay, nothing happens. Yeah, literally nothing happens, it seems. Because a coin animation is always going to equal to 0, so that should be fine. And what we should be able to do is I'm gonna grab some, oops. There we go. Gonna grab this code for now. It's going to be a little silly in the beginning. There it is. That's because using Mia Games is missing. But once I do that, we have the setup display here. Number of times Lucky Coin appeared. We're going to increment that by 1. As well as whenever it is tapped, somewhere in here should be an on-click. We should increment the number of times Lucky Coin was tapped by 1. And finally, on the transition panel here, there's this whole shenanigans, but what I want is to pull in a quick thing here and say here, if number of times Lucky Coin was tapped is less than or equal to 0, or the random probability is set as such. I probably don't want to check that all the time. Oh. Why does it do that? There we go. That should probably do. So, in theory then, so long as I don't tap the coin, it should always appear. That's actually pretty much going to be the stream for now. That was the most I intended to go over. There's a lot of other bugs I need to fix, but bugs aren't really streaming material, so I'm not going to go over them. That's probably from all the debugging. We should actually take that out. Alright, so pretty much the coin appeared that time. And the coin appeared that time too. Alright, so now it should stop appearing, basically. Yeah, and it did. It did. So yeah, it works. Okay. And then we just take out those debugging statements because honestly they're slowing down the game like crazy. And yep, that's it for today. Fairly short stream.